I'm really excited this week because I've got so many updates for you, including how the slug defences are going or not going, but we'll come to that later, because if you remember last week I aired my shame and I showed you the state of the inside of my polytunnel after seeing everybody else's just looking fantastic and even more planted up. I thought it was time to show a little bit of what goes on inside ours. But this week it's all changed, so I'm going to show you very quickly what I've done, and yeah, I'm really proud of myself. Oops. Bee in my face. Well, I hope you can see what the difference is, because yeah, last week we still had all the staging up. There were buckets everywhere, there were empty buckets, there was basically this stuff times 100. But yeah, I've got everything cleared away now too. Well, over here I've got buckets of things Mike's planted that I've got to be honest, I don't quite know what they are. We've got carrots and basil, I recognise those, I'm not sure what those are at the back. Onions, oh, there's always more onions. And here we've just got some tomatoes, which are probably, we've got too much of my ginger, remember my ginger. But I've managed to get the ground clear. So instead of thinking, oh, I've got all this stuff to do before I can put anything else in, all I need to do now, I mean, I showed you this a couple of weeks ago, the soil on the surface. It is just like dust, because there's been nothing in here apart from rubbish all winter. So it needs to have a really, really good soak. But just the fact I can stand here now and look around and imagine where things are going to go, I'm dead pleased with myself. Of course, what this does mean, and you might be asking yourself, is, come on Jane, where is all the stuff you moved? So I'll show you another little secret. It's all there. So now basically, yeah, I've just got to get some of this stuff put away and it'll be fine. But you know what? It's got to go somewhere. And as with the inside of the polytunnel, I don't think that'll take too long to clear away. But not today. Here we have an extremely broody little chicken. Oh, hello Junior, you're never going to hatch those eggs, sweetie. Hello lovely. Okay, I'm going to tempt her with a little bit of corn to see if she's interested. Right, it might be a bit of a fuss. Here we go. Oh, she's doing her best. There we are. Oh, it's making all these noises we've never made before. And you're going to have some. And you're going to have some. There we are. There we go. Mike made this really sweet, if odd, little setup. Just using some old troughs that we had lying around, and a year or two ago we were given these old pipe stands from an organ. And so basically, yeah, it's turned that on its side, used it as a little table and put the troughs on top and sown some sugar snap peas. I think these are Oregon sugar pod. And I said to him, Mike, they're never going to come. It's just like, you know, setting a table for the pigeons, but they're actually coming quite thick. I'm tempted not to cover them. I'm aware that one, oh yeah, this side of that one, something's had a feast because there's only half a pea there. But yeah, these are actually coming quite nice, but hopefully they'll climb up here. And oh, I do like a sugar snap pea. They're going to be delicious. Hopefully not for the pigeons. I was looking back at some of my old videos because I remember that sometime last year I sowed leeks in this little raised bed. The first things to go in here, and I've noticed that the scapes have formed well and proper now. So not only is it about time to pull some of them up and have a bit of a weed and just show Tony, if you're watching Tony, this is where the owl ended up. If I can get this off, needs a good weed, need to have a look at the leeks, but also I'm wondering if I've got, oh look at that bindweed, look, in there. Oh dear, this is the sort of thing I should have done before I put the camera on, isn't it? I'm wondering if any of the peas that I had in here last year self-seeded. Let's get rid of some of these weeds. Because I had some heritage seeds, I had some Kent Blue, which I've got to be honest, didn't do as well as I thought they might, so I wasn't too bothered about those. But the ones that were absolutely lovely were called King Tut, and they were sent from Danny. And I know Terry King has sown them before as well. And I was just wondering, because I haven't touched this bed, I was wondering if anything had seeded. So I'll bring you in and we'll have a closer look. Okay, so I'd like to think that if I move these weeds, I might have a lovely surprise of volunteer, as we call them. No, I haven't. I've just got more weeds. And what's more, I would say these leeks aren't quite ready for picking. They're about, I suppose that's about an inch thick. Let's pull that one. Let's give it a pull. There we are. Ah, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. Yeah, you want to leave them till they're about an inch and a half thick, but I think that would just about do. So I'll clean that up. But some of the others, I'm going to pull a few and leave the others to fatten up for a bit. Something that did reliably self-seed for me was my lovely Calendula. You know that I absolutely love this plant. It's just such a bright splash of colour in the summer, and of course all the insects love it as well, so yeah, it's a win-win. But yeah, this is where the thyme was, under the Blackberry arch, and I was going to sow some saved seeds, but I just found these as I was weeding. These, well, I hope they're Calendula. Be funny if they're not. But yeah, I've put these on both sides now. Let me swing you around. They're looking a bit like they need a water, but actually they've doubled in size since I put them in. So yeah, really pleased. Mike's been using these beds either side of the central arch, which makes it sound very grand, doesn't it? Just as nursery beds really this year, but then, as typical of both of us, he's forgotten about them. So what we've got here, oh, let's have a look. We've got a whole load of pak choi, but that looks like it's been ravaged by slugs. I'll come back to them in a minute. And we've got some greens here. Oh, and here we have some Ford Hook chard, of which we've got one. But I think what we're going to do in the future, why don't I sit down, is any sort of salad leaf like this. I've got a small trug now at home. It's not like a big veg trug. If you go to Danny on the Grow Up channel, he's got a gorgeous big veg trug that he's set up outside his back door, front door. Anyway, for the very reason that he can grow salads at home. Because I don't know about you, when I pick something like this to take home, by the time it's got home, it's really floppy. And of course, it's not that nice then, it's even a bit chewy. So it's different for things like pak choi and lettuces because you can sort of revive them a little bit in a bit of water. But if you've got any tips as to how to stop your leaves going floppy on the way home, let me know, other than carry them in a jug of water. But yeah, I've got a trug outside the back door now, which I'll be showing you. Hopefully I'll show you next week. So I'm hoping that I'm just going to be able to nip out the back door, and anything sort of short-lived, like your mustard greens, things like radishes, things that you might just want to pick for a sandwich, I'll be able to just step outside the back door and get them. But that's coming up next week. Let's get back onto the slugs. Remember my dahlias, my absolute beloved dahlias? Ignore this, by the way, I'm calling this a wildlife corridor. Yeah, put them out last week, and you know how much I love them. I surrounded them with the miscanthus bedding, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. And it looks to me like they've maybe had a bit of a nibble. I mean, what you've got to look out for is once you've got a leaf going over the edge of the bedding, that's a little bridge for the slug to climb up. But these are looking pretty good. I'm really, really impressed. I mean, I've done this with the courgettes as well. They're brilliant, but I'll show you the other thing that we're using, which is the copper scourers that Mike's using around some of the brassicas, and I'll show you how that's getting on. Okay, if you remember, Mike used the copper scourer technique. You can see it right at the bottom of the stem there. You see that? And actually, if you look at the bottom two leaves, they look like they've been completely ravaged by slugs, but actually, he's got the miscanthus grass around as well, and if you carry on looking higher up the plant, it's pretty much free of anything. So yeah, I'm wondering if those bottom leaves were like that before he started, because if we look at the one next door as well, okay, if you look at this one next door, it's also got the copper scourer technique around the stem, plus the miscanthus grass, so belt and braces. For me, the copper scourer, I don't think it does give it much of a shock. It would be minimal if it was, but it's more about it being a physical barrier, because if you look at the top leaves, I know the one at the bottom's been a bit nibbled, they just look absolutely beautiful. So while it's working, yeah, I think we can say it's a success. Confession of the week. I still haven't sown all my beans. I sowed one line of cobra on the back row of canes there. I found some beautiful violet podded French beans that were going to go here. And I haven't even touched the canes over there. I haven't got my beans chitting. I haven't got any spares done. In other words, if I don't get a bit of a move on, I'm not going to have any beans this year. It's not like I haven't got the seed, I just have not got round to doing them. So yeah, there's still time, isn't there? If you haven't put your beans in yet, let me know. I know some people, their beans are already climbing up the poles, but yeah, I've just got to be honest with you. We've had some horrendous rain the last couple of days, but last weekend we just had some beautiful, beautiful evenings, and I found myself 9:30 at night just sitting next to the pond. The birds had gone quiet, there was just a stillness in the air. It was absolutely beautiful. It's all very nice wandering around and having a nice chat, but you can see I've really got quite a lot to do. Oh, blackcurrant. These are doing really well as well, you know. This is the Silvergrow peat-free ericaceous compost. I look like I'm actually going to, well, I have got currants on there, so whether they'll come to fruition or not, I don't know. And the lavender cuttings, remember them? They're coming as well. I'll catch you up with them next week, and my dahlia cuttings as well. Plus next week we will go and take a look at the squash patch, Mike's squash patch, because there's a few other things in there now as well. And hopefully I'll be able to show you my trough at home. But if you have enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, giving it a like, take a little look at the links below. If you want to join the Patreon page, that would be fantastic. But leave me a comment and let me know how you're getting on in your garden. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.